Hello, my name is Maria. Welcome to Guage and Klutz Knitting and Crochet. I thought today, and happy July 4th week. I know that this is a very hot time to be, everybody's got a heat wave going on, so it's a very hot time to be knitting or crocheting. I wanted to share a really quick shrug, simple shrug. I'll show you the back of it. So it's not one of those that goes ridiculously really high up like this. I didn't want that. I want it to kind of go down. And you could customize this to make it go longer. The dress that I was thinking of that I wanted to make this for is a very classic polka dot dress. And it looks like something that you would see in the late 60s, early 70s, that whole 70 crochet time, and crochet is back, huge. It never went away. I hate to say it's back, but knit and crochet never really went away. It's on all the runways right now, and so is embroidery of, okay, so I don't know if you can see this, but how I did a video on how I embroidered my jeans together. And the other thing that's really huge, if you have like holes in your jeans that are just well beyond worn and you don't know whether to cut your jeans and use the fabric or for a quilt, or maybe because denim makes great quilting fabric. But if you really want to get artsy fartsy with it, take your worn jeans that the big designers are calling rethreaded and just embroider. Like, there you go. Embroider. Use embroidery yarn and just get in there and make all kinds of colors where your little holes are in your jeans. And you might get a few people might look at you a little bit like they might do a double thing. But then they'll come up to you and say, "Where'd you get your jeans?" And then you tell them, "I've had them forever. They're wearing out, and I'm trying to rethread them." And that's all you do. So I'm really into repurposing clothes right now. So I'm going to be doing videos on upcycling clothes. That means taking the seams out of your sweaters and using parts of your good knitted and good crocheted material and using it to repurpose and embroidering with it. But the other thing that's really huge is embroidering on a pair of solid jeans. Last year I saw designers and the brand name people selling jeans that had holes that were rethreaded, which just meant they took a little bit of like maybe a dark jean with a stone wash thread and like kind of shredded it, but then reinforced it with some thread. $60, easy. $60. Then I started to see people that were rethreading with embroidery, what I've been doing for years, instead of putting a patch on my jeans. $50, $60. Now they're doing the other thing that people that are crafty and have loved to sew are doing. They're putting little embroidery, butterflies, birds, daisies, flowers, peace signs, whatever you want. You could take a nice solid pair of jeans, solid pair of pants. I saw it on white pants the other day on QVC. I think it was the Martha Stewart brand, and they were like $40-something. Just little embroidery yarn and make a little, whatever. Personalize them. And think of it like a tattoo. Think of it like message. I always think of clothes as kind of like Prince thought of clothes, message t-shirts and message, putting a message on the arm and on the jean and on the jacket. So, I mean, those are some videos I got coming up. But what you're going to need to make this shrug, getting back to this, is measuring tape or a ruler or a yardstick or a notebook that you know the measurement of already. Piece of paper or something you know the measurement of. You're gonna need a yarn. I'm using Red Heart Super Saver. I think a blue one would be nice, and I'm gonna also make a red one because I want one in a bunch of colors. And then whenever I put a tank top on or a sundress or I'm going to the store, even in the fall when it's still kind of warm out, but you get in the store and then the air conditioning's on you, or you gotta go somewhere and sit and the air conditioning's right on you. This is all you need to cover, and it's a simple shrug. But you can do the same thing with any pattern. A big old rectangle. I'm going to show you a really easy one though. Alright, so you need a pair of scissors. And look at my scissors. Scissors. And yarn. Okay. And a large, sorry, I was just whitening my teeth, so it's the bleach is still popping out on me. You want to do a gauge on this. You really need a gauge. I'm a real enforcer of the gauge. Enforcer. 10 double crochet will equal 5 rows. Just do 10 double crochet for 5 rows. And you should have 4 inches squared or 10 centimeters squared. So you really want to get that. Not without you shouldn't have to stretch it a lot to get that. Okay. And once you get that, you know you're good. You can use any crochet hook you want. The crochet hook suggested for this pattern is a size 11 8 millimeter, 11 8 millimeter, or an L. So an L would be the letter, an 8 millimeter would be the millimeter, and an 11 would be the US size. Okay. I wanted mine a little bigger, so I went with a 10 millimeter and a N15. So I went up about 2.5 sizes. In millimeters, I only went up 2 sizes, but I don't know, with the letter and the number, I don't know, works for me. I wanted my sleeves to be not tight to my arm. I wanted them to kind of bow out. I wanted a little bit more of a square happening. So let's get to it. You need yarn. The yarn they're using is Bernet Bamboo and Corn color, which is a yellow. I'm going to link to the pattern. I'm using Sanibel. Actually, I'm going to do this in red so you can see, or blue, so you can see it because I already have this color. So I'm using blue. This is sky blue. Red Heart Love Soft. Not the value, but the Love Soft. And it's a true 4 medium or sweat yarn. It is soft. So you find your gauge. And then the way you make a slip knot, or the way I do it, there's 2 different ways you can do it. Some people do this. They crisscross like this. They go under the first thread, they grab that second thread, and they pull through like this. And they've got their slip knot. Some people do just like I do. They take their yarn, they fold it over, they twist, they go for that top thread, and pull it through. Other people do like my grandmother did, where she would, the short end forward of her needle, or crochet hook, wrap this one over the top, and pull through. Do whatever you need. You need about 6 to 8 inches length. I'd say give yourself about 6-7 inches on the edge because you can use it to sew with when you're done. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chain 93, and this is a one size fits all, but you can make it even bigger by adding on 10 plus 3. So you would add 13 more stitches if you wanted it a little bit bigger. It will stretch though as you're wearing it and get kind of loose. So So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yarn over, dip down through, 7, yarn over, dip down through, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, it's going to be kind of boring for you to watch me chain 93, so I'm just going to skip ahead and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have my chain of 93, and you want to take your time doing your chain, and even though if you're using a big crochet hook, some of them can get a little small and some of them big, because when you go to tighten, if you're not taking your time, some will go smaller and some will stay loose and big like that. So you just want to take a minute to just kind of straighten out your chain. And you'll notice there's a flat part of the chain like this that is just all little V's going down. If you turn that chain around, it's what's called the spine of the chain, and there's little bumps. If you wanted to, if it was easier to find your chain, you could turn around and work the spine and work through these loops here, these little bumps on the back. And some people do. It's totally up to you. You will have a cleaner edge if you do. I'm going to do that. You don't have to. I just think it's going to be easier to recognize my, maybe not, we'll see. I think it's going to be easier to recognize my stitch, because sometimes when you get a big stitch going, they all look kind of weird, irregular looking. See the bumps pretty quick? Yeah, you can go on the front too. I'll go on the front, just not to make it hard or anything. Alright, so there's only 3 rows, so it's really, really simple. So you're going to, I'll show you the stitches. You're going to do 1 double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So we're not going to count this chain because it's on the hook. We're going to count down 1, 2, 3, 4. And to do a double crochet, you're going to wrap around your needle with the yarn or your hook. You're going to go down into the 4th chain and pull that loop through, bring it up, and now you have 3 on your hook like this. Just straighten out your yarn. You have 3, yarn over again, you've got 4. Pull that yarn through 2, yarn over, and pull that yarn through 2, and now you have a double crochet. It's that simple. Alright, then what you're going to do to repeat this is you're going to chain 1, and the pattern says miss the next stitch, which is a very old way of writing. Remember my grandma's books used to have, my mom's mom used to have miss stitch, do this, do that. And so this is a very 70s, kind of 60s, 70s. Okay, so not that old, but feels old. Alright, so you're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next stitch. Alright, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you have your first little square. It's that easy. Chain 1, skip a stitch, go into the next stitch, yarn over, go through that, chains, pull up a yarn. We've got 3, 4, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Chain 1. Okay, just keep remembering to look where your last stitch is coming out of, and you'll know where you need to go. So what I do is I just kind of like mindfully put my finger on the next one I know I need to go to. But you'll get it to where you're eyeballing it. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, I'm kind of mentally looking that my yarn is coming out of that one there, so I'm going to miss this one. I'm going to go into this one. So even if your little chains start to get small on you, you'll stay on track. Okay. So again, yarn over, skip one. That's all you're doing all the way to the end. And because you're using a big, and I'm using a really big hook, don't be afraid to use your fingers. So I got to get into you. So you got 4, yarn over, 2, over, close to 2. Okay, so I'm going to do this all the way across, and I'll come back for the very end. When you get to the end, all you're going to do is there will be, you're going to go all the way to the last double crochet, and you're going to double crochet the last chain, the very last chain. You're going to double crochet into that one. That will be what you'll do, and then you'll turn. So keep doing this. Chain 1, skip 1, yarn over, go into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, chain 1. Don't forget to chain 1. Just keep doing that all the way across, and I'll come back for row 2. Okay, so when you get to the end, you're going to skip your 1 like usual, chain your 1, skip your 1, and you should be at the very last chain. And you're just going to double crochet into that last one. That's row 1, and you don't have to do row 1 ever again. Okay, so you're going to turn. You can see how long it is. Now here's where you want to adjust. Seriously, you want to wrap it around yourself and see if it's going to fit. Because you can add 10 plus 3, so 13 stitches you would add on. If you wanted it just a little bigger, maybe you want, I don't know, maybe you want a little swing in yours, whatever. It's going to loosen up naturally. Just remember that once you wash it and do what you got to do. So row 2, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. And now these little squares that we've made are little grid, which is such a basic thing to do. It's found in grid crochet, where fillet crochet. It's so useful to know how to do this in single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, because it's how you make your fillet set up to then do more little fun stuff in your squares and color shape work, and you could shape all kinds of things. Think of it like a piece of graph paper. Okay, so you can do all kinds of things in there to do shape work. And then also it's like just the basics to V-stitches and ways to make movement and shape. So you can play within those squares and do all kinds of things to the posts. These are called posts. If you've never crocheted before, this is the post part of your crochet. This is the top part of your crochet, and there's 2 loops in your crochet. I'll show it to you. There's a front loop and there's a back loop. And when you really get into crocheting later, if you should choose to, if this wets your noodle a little bit and you want to get started, just a little fun thing to get people interested in crochet. Different patterns will have you using the back loop and the front loop, and then 2 loops, and then approaching your loop from the bottom up. It all makes a difference in weaving, and you could make a lot of texturized designs. So it's really cool that way. Okay, so you've got your chain 4 for row 2. Now you're going to double crochet into the next chain space, which is right here. You're going to yarn over and double crochet right into that chain space. Okay, you're going to chain 1, and you're going to yarn over and double crochet into your next chain space. It's just that simple. So you've created your little grid or clay to work with. You've got your setup of squares, so now you just keep double crocheting. It's so stinking easy. It's and fun and cute. And it's kind of that mindless crochet where if you wanted to do a little mindfulness and praying or singing or watching TV, the TV on the background, I got the news on still. I keep meaning to change channel. Turn some music on, sing, dance, whatever. Stand up, stretch, take stretch breaks. You can, but I mean, it's just this simple. Okay? So just keep going to the end, and you're going to stop at the last 2 double crochet, and you're going to skip the first double crochet, and you're going to double crochet into the next double crochet. I'll come back for the end of row 2, and then all there is row 3. I really like the way this color is working out. Just remember to chain your one. My cat's sitting here looking so cute. Hi, Dustin. He wants to jump my yarn. He also wants to come over and say hello to all of you. Likes to video bomb me when I'm knitting or crocheting. Which is why you should wash everything that you knit or crochet anyways, but I always double wash everything. And then put it somewhere where he can't get around it because his hair just flies everywhere. The cutie patootie is really good about not jumping the yarn, right, Justin? You're not going to jump my yarn. Like, yeah, right. I'm going to jump. No, he's never really jumped the yarn. One time when he was a real little baby, about 3 months old, I had, no, wait a minute. It was about a year. He had just turned about a year old. I had made a little baby dress for a cousin of mine who was a baby girl. And I had stayed up all night crocheting this dress. I was looking for just the right pattern. It ended up being too big for her anyways. But it turned out really precious. It was called The Little Doll Dress by Crochet Crowd, and I watched a tutorial by Mikey, and it was an excellent tutorial, and I just followed along, and it was the first little real pretty dress that I'd ever made for a little girl, and I got done with it, and I was so happy with it. It was really expensive yarn. It wasn't like Super Saver yarn. It wasn't, and even the Super Value yarn is expensive. But I mean, it was a really expensive yarn, and it was like 3-4 in the morning, and I was like, I'm done. And I drank my water, and I got up, and I stretched, and I went to the bathroom to brush my teeth, wash my face, and come back to go to bed. And I hung it on the doorknob, and he got it, and he totally jumped it. I had not weaved in my ends, so they were just hanging, and he jumped them because it was just something grand. It had holes in it everywhere. I had to rip it out, remake it. I could not salvage a lot of the yarns. I had to get more yarn, and damn. And I really yelled at him, and he always remembered not to go, and so he really doesn't jump my yarn. He really doesn't. He'll just sit and look at it like, It's like, oh, mommy. He's got his own toys, and I play with him for a good 2 hours in the morning, early. And then that gets him tired to take his little nap. And then before I go to bed at night, I run him around. It doesn't stop a cat from being awake. He's 6 years old now, so he stays up at night. Hunts. On guard. Okay, so you're going to just keep doing this with row 2. I thought I was going to leave, but I'm still here. Because it's just such a simple one, I might as well just stay and show it to you. Okay. You're going to stop at when you have 2 double crochet left. So we'll look at it like this is the turning chain. So we'll look at this, one here and one here. Okay. It's telling us to chain 1, skip that double crochet right there, and actually double crochet into the top of the double crochet here. Okay. And then double crochet into the top here of the, it's a double crochet but it's turning chain because it's chain 3 or chain 4. So we're going to go into the top of this, and if we don't, it won't be even. That's really important. So skip 1, stop before the last 2 true double crochets, skip the 1, go into the other, and then chain 1 and go, and chain 1, skip the 1, go into the other, double crochet in the top of it, not into the space, then chain 1 and double crochet into that last double crochet, which counts as the turning chain. The chain 4 that we did counts as a double crochet. So now we're going to turn for row 3, and we're even. We're good. Look on your side, make sure you're even. Check it every now and again. And row 3, you're just going to chain 3 again. 1, 2. Instead of 4, you're going to chain 3. The only thing that changes between row 2 and 3 is you're chaining 4 in row 2 and you're stopping at the last 2 double crochet and skipping 1 and going to the next one and then the top of the turning chain. In row 3, you're chaining 3. You're doing the same thing we've been doing, and then you're so you chain 3, and then you without again chain 1. So you're always going to add that extra chain on there. So chain your 3. Okay, and now double crochet into the next chain space, which is right here. Excuse me. So you're in the next one. Chain 1, double crochet into the next one. That's all you're doing. At the end of this one, you're going to stop at the last double crochet and just double crochet it. So the only thing that's changing between row 2 and row 3 is how many you chain at the beginning, and when you stop at 2 and what you do, or at the end of the row. All that's changing. I'm just going to keep doing this. Chain 1. You can slow this video down if it's too fast, but for those of you that know how to double crochet. For some of you, if you really don't like the checker look, you could go, I'm just going to show you really quick what you could do. You're just going to keep doing that. Just keep chaining 1 and doing that. But if you really think this is just too blah, you could do a couple of rows where you yarn over, double crochet, chain 1, yarn over, and double crochet into that same one. And what you have is a V-stitch here. And it'll just change up the look a little bit. You could chain 1 and just do that in the middle, maybe. Okay, chain 1, double crochet again, and that is a basic V-stitch beginning to happen. And you're also changing the shape of it. I'm not telling you to do this, I'm just telling you if you want a little something different. Chain 1 double crochet, chain 1 double crochet in the same chain space. Okay. So then you've got kind of this happening. And it just is going to add some movement and shape to your garment. As long as you end where you're supposed to end, it's not going to ruin the pattern or anything. It's just going to add a little bit of a fun look. You're not going to do it every row, because that would change it. It would be going in a curve kind of. But I mean, if you wanted to add a little bit of movement in and just kind of mix up you could do that. You could do the whole thing this way if you wanted to. I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with the squares for this one. I do have a white one I'm going to work on, and I'm going to do that for. I'm going to do it all in V-stitch. Okay, so this is the basic pattern, and I will come back when I have. You're going to do this till you get to 14 inches without stretching it. If you stretch it, if you're at 14 without stretching it, you might be at around 15, 16. You can go longer. If you go longer, your sleeve will be longer. Your sleeve will be like more of a 3/4 length sleeve. You could do that. You can also come back and do a border on your sleeve or some kind of decoration on it. You can mix some color in. I mean, you could jazz this up or keep it simple. I think simple is really nice for summer. Depends on what you're wearing. If you want to make a couple that are kind of jazzy for just plain tank tops, over shorts, over jeans, maybe you want to go in with like a Aran color around the border and then come back with this color and bring it down to a 3/4 length sleeve. You can seasonally change it up. To rejoin your yarn and work it. You could do like a shell kind of, or a cluster. What would be equivalent to a cluster? You would just maybe do 5 double crochets in one each chain space. Maybe skip 2 and do 5 double crochets in another, and maybe a single crochet after it. You can jazz it up or keep it dressed down. Again, remember, you can do any stitch your little heart desires as long as you end up with a rectangle. You can make a shrug. You can actually even make a cardie just by sewing in the edges. So what you're going to do when you get done with this, you're going to repeat row 2 and row 3 over and over and over again until you have 14 inches or however longer you want. I'm going to make this one a little longer because this one's going to be for like jeans and stuff. So I'm going to go for about 18 inches. Maybe not. Maybe 17 inches. I like the number 7. Maybe 16 inches. I haven't decided yet. But this pattern was designed by the designers of Bernet yarn, and it can be found on favecrafts.com. It's free. Listed as easy for obvious reasons. But these are the basics that you really need to know to do all kinds of advanced and intermediate fun things. I find the easy things are the most useful to really understanding they're the building blocks of, they're just all basic stitches that we're playing with. Okay, so you're going to go all the way to the end. And you're going to end with a double crochet at the end. So you're going to go into the next. Just keep going into your next chain space. This is row 3. And we're not going to skip nothing. I'm going to chain 1. We're going to go into each, and then we're just going to come over here and go into that last double crochet right here. Okay. But that wasn't right. Okay. Remember, this is the chain space right here. It's telling us to go into our next double crochet. With the other one, I made the mistake of going into here, into this chain space, and then I ended up with extra and it got bigger. So I'm going to say go into this one here in the end, and it will keep it even. Okay. Otherwise you're making a lot of extra little. If that had landed on my head, it would have actually hurt. So really heavy 10 crochet hook. They have plastic ones. I should have gone for a plastic one. As you're working this, it'll get smaller and smaller. You'll notice it'll start to get smaller. Don't worry about it. It'll stretch. So then again, you're just going to keep repeating row 2 and 3 over and over and over again. So row 2 was, we chained 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we chained 1, and we went into our next chain space right here. All you're going to keep doing. Okay. Just do this till you get to 14 inches from your foundation row, or 16 or 17, whatever length you want. Just remember, the longer you go, this is around 17 inches, just around 14 to 7. This is 14 inches without stretching. If I stretched it, it was 17 inches. So you see it's going right to here on me. See that, okay? So it's just covering your underarms and that part that you really don't want flapping. If you got any flap happening, which I don't know anyone that doesn't have a little flap going on. But yeah, I got a lot of flap going on. So just wait to like right there, and then, or you could, if you go a few more inches down, just remember it's going to go longer in your back. And so if you have like an empire waist, or you might want to go longer and cover your dress or cover your jeans. This one's going to be longer because this one's going to be kind of one that I want to use for jeans and around the house and when I'm walking to the store. And you just want something over the air conditioner before you go into the store and get frozen out. How many of you have walked to the store or been out in the sunshine and you know, or you're in your hot car or whatever, and you get to the store and the air conditioning is just blasting and now you're frozen? That's the story of my life everywhere I go. And believe me, even my air conditioning out in the other room, I can feel on my feet in here. And so, a little something something around your neck and your shoulders is nice. The yarn they're using, Bernet Bamboo, is a really soft silk yarn. This one is acrylic and cotton. I would try to get some kind of a cotton blend in it so it's not all acrylic. All acrylic might be a little scratchy or not too soft, but if the only thing you have is like a Super Saver or a Value yarn that is all 100% acrylic, you can wash this really nicely in a soft soap and it will take that right out of it, a natural soap. Just keep doing that and I'll come back and show you what to do at the very end. Okay, so I'm not done with mine yet, but I wanted to come back and show you, so I'm sitting sideways, this is going off, I wanted to show you that, how to put it together without it being done and how to customize it, because I don't want the video to get too long, and I want to show you if you wanted to make this for a child, a little tiny person, you would do less stitches. You would just do less stitches and kind of just look for what would go around them, you know. So maybe 43 stitches for a little toddler, or 63 for a little teenager or preteen, and then 93 for, you know, one size fits all. And then you wouldn't go as long. You would go shorter. If I was making this, say, for a little doll right now, say I had a little, like, I don't know, Barbie type doll or something like that. It's going to be too big for even a Barbie, but here's what you're going to do. I wanted to show you what you're going to do. You're going to, when you get done doing everything, you're going to end on a row 2. I forgot to say that. That's really important. So here's where we began here. You're going to take your yarn. Remember when I said leave a little extra yarn? Leave a little extra. Okay. And then when you fasten off at the end, leave a little extra at the other end. You can even leave more than this because you're going to sew with it. So you're going to take your chain that you made at the very bottom when you began, and you're going to bring it up, wrong sides facing. So this is the right side, the wrong side, the inside of it. Okay. And you're going to measure with your measuring tape 8 inches. Put them both together like this, wrong side to wrong side. You're going to measure 8 inches. Okay. You're going to sew that with your yarn with a whip stitch or just a little mattress stitch right there. And that's your sleeve. That's it. That's your sleeve. Okay. And then you do the same thing on the other side. From one end, 8 inches to the other end. Just sew a little whip stitch or a little mattress stitch. I'll come back to show it to you, but I just wanted to tell you if any of you want to, I'll show you the end result in the video, but I wanted to get this video out there and uploaded so I don't have to do a lot of editing or anything and make it really long. So pretty much this is eight inches for a really skinny little arm. So think child, think how much you'd have to have going down their back, and you know, you could customize, is my point. So you're just going to go ahead and whip stitch just that, and then go right around the area of that is closed in with a single crochet, and you're done. Fasten off your ends, and if you want to go longer and make this, like, I know it's going to take me a while because I'm going to go longer. I want mine to circle around. I want it to kind of circle around my waist a little bit. So I know it's going to take me a while to get done, but I wanted to just show you this quick pattern because it's so much fun, and it's so easy, and it's something you could take outside even in this hot weather. There is a little bit of a breeze. There was a breeze last night. I went out and I was crocheting outside. So if you're in the heat, take your yarn outside and get fresh air and just catch a little vitamin D, maybe a little tan, and just enjoy your time outside, which is what I'm about to do right now. Like we have little picnic tables out by a grilling area in our courtyard. I'm going to go sit out by my favorite tree and catch a little bit of vitamin D and a breeze and fresh air, and just sit and get this done. So just remember, sew 8 inches in from the beginning of each edge with your bottom of your foundation chain to your top of your, where you fasten off. Customize any length you want, but just remember your sleeves will get that long too. You could try it at any point. You can do V-stitch, or you can do, I'm just going to call this a grid stitch. I don't know what the name of it is, it's just simple fillet. No big deal. But this was all the rage in the 70s. I mean, vests were made in little checkers, long vests, blankets, throws for cars. I remember people used to have picnic tables with little crocheted checker cloths that were this kind of in their yards. If you have cotton or bamboo. Yarn works really great with this. You've got to recycle some plastic, cut it in strips, loop it up to where you've got, some yarn. Go bug your local grocery store for some. Pay them if they really want it. Give them like $1 or $2 for a 50 bag. And cut them up into strips. Make really awesome shower curtains with this. And you can do anything with this. Beach tops are just mesh little squares. That's all they are. Let's see. I'm going to go to the end. That turning chain is really important. The pattern doesn't say so, but that is what you do. Otherwise you can't keep it even. So, okay, so that's the whole video. Just remember again, 8 inches from here to here. Bring it up, sew it together. You're going to need a darning needle or a needle with a wide eye that you can get your yarn through. Just sew it along, a whip stitch or whatever stitch you like to do. And then go to the other end. Do your 8 inches here. Hit. Then just come around here to here. Looks like a little half sock. Just come around here to here. And just do a little single crochet around it. And that's it. Or you could come around your sleeves and do a little shell stitch or little fancy stitch, whatever you want to do. Alright, have fun making this. I'm going to make one in red next. It looks kind of tomatoey now, but I like red against my brown too. I like to wear red. So I've got red and blue, and I'm going to make a white one. And this one's going to hopefully go with the dress I'm wearing. I'm not sure yet. I might make a different color one. I might use a different kind of yarn. I don't know. Alright, so that's the video. I hope everyone will make this. If you caught on to this quicker than this video, you don't have to watch the whole thing. Just let me know you're here, and have a nice day. Bye.